Our next speaker is Anna Osherov. She is the eventologist and event marketing expert, a speaker, facilitator, and consultant on branding and brand reputation and revenue through power of marketing and live events. Since 2006, she has been working directly with business owners and organizations on their marketing and business development success. Anna is the CEO and founder of Flint and Eventologist Training. And in 2019, she was nominated for Telstra Business Awards. Her clients are visionary leaders making a difference one successful event at a time. So since COVID, Anna closed her business event venue and took her event training online with a program aimed at teaching coaches, authors, business owners, and speakers to plan, promote, and present webinars, helping them unlock a new, highly profitable revenue stream in their business. She's a communicator, co-creator, and vicarious achiever. She is always happier when she is supporting the growth of others and when growth is gained as a team. If you were to ask her friends and co-workers, her strengths are, they would tell you that her positive energy is infectious and she's always on the move getting things done. Thank you so much, Anna, for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do?
So my name is Anna Osherov and I actually live in Melbourne, Australia. So it is currently nearly 6:30 in the morning here. I run two businesses, and both businesses focus on supporting business owners and leaders to be able to increase their brand reputation and their revenue through the power of marketing and live events. The first business I run is a training organization. So we run a signature program called the Niche Industry Influencer Program, where we teach people how to use social, email, and digital events to be able to increase their reputation and revenue. And the other business we run also supports people in the same journey, but through digital technology. So our other business is called Flint. And Flint basically makes it a lot easier for people to create more content with less effort by repurposing long form copy and creating social media images, social media content, automatically scheduling it, posting it, and then tracking it so that business owners and leaders can be visible online with just a little bit less effort.
We all need less effort because as an entrepreneur, you've got to keep on, giving all the time. And if something takes less effort to do and create, is just so supportive and so helpful for entrepreneurs. So tell us, what is marketing strategy and how does it work?
That's a really good question. So realistically, the whole purpose of a marketing strategy is helping to position a business or organization, their products and services, and make it of value to their ideal audience. In a nutshell, that is what a marketing strategy does. Now, in order to be able to create an effective marketing strategy, if we're looking into traditional marketing, you're looking at the original 4 Ps, which are product, which is your product or service, the place, which is the space where your product or service is kept and sold across multiple locations, both digital and non-digital. And then we're looking at our price. And price really include not just how much the product costs, but what is the listed price, what is the discount price, what is the price that it costs to create, so the cost of goods costs to create, and then what is our profit and our revenue strategy. And then finally, which is the part where most people think marketing sits, and that is promotion. And that is all about promoting a product or service to our direct audience and really looking at how we're promoting, what channels we're promoting that on, how do we talk about that product? Do we have a strategy that positions us to be top of the market, or are we looking at the bottom of the market space? So marketing in general is a discipline. Apparently it comes from the word market, as in to go to the market, and that's originally where marketing comes from. So it's not just about the fun part, or for what I find fun. Most people probably don't find it fun at all, but the promotion side of things, it's not just about the promotion.
Yeah, and it's crucial to market your services and promote your services. A lot of entrepreneurs think that they can run their business behind the screen. Would that still be would you call that effective marketing, even though you don't want to show up your face?
That's another really good question, Edith. I think it very much depends on who you are and what type of business you're in. And more, increasingly, more and more, people follow people. And so if we are, as the leader of our organization, not wanting to be visible, my recommendation is always to at least have someone in your organizations to be visible. See, the problem is that when we remain behind the screen, and it's really interesting that you decided to use that terminology, we're not able to engage and encourage and build following. And so in a service business specifically, so if we're providing any form of service, people choose a service provider primarily based on trust. And so the choices are usually made for the person who has had the most consistent and the most recent interaction with us. So if you're thinking about yourself and you're thinking about choosing a service provider and you've never been to somebody in this space before, all you're going to be thinking about is, who do I know? What have I thought of? And I'm going to go to them as the need arises. So I believe that it is our duty as a service provider to be visible for our ideal audience. When they are ready to engage, you are ready to service them. And sometimes they just need a gentle nudge of encouragement to get them over the line. And so, partly what I specialize in, as I said, is, through social, email, and digital events. And my favorite way to, build and grow an audience and to support the conversion cycle. So to go from, somebody who's just unknown, just met you, to making a decision to work with you is through a online event, such as a webinar, or like this event right here, because what we're doing is we're spending time with somebody. And, if we're thinking about the customer journey or the buyer journey, from someone to go from, not knowing you at all to then knowing you, which is where brand awareness comes into it, then through the research and discovery phase, which is when people sort of start to Google, start to use social media, start to, work out what is the right option for them, then through to making that purchase decision, and then through use. If we are able to engage a person at the awareness stage and bring them in on a journey with us, then we're able to really fast track that journey so that they make that purchase decision faster and with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you say that, what would be an effective marketing strategy or campaign
for a service provider?
Yes, to market your own product or service.
Yeah, look, it's different for each individual. The people that we work with, we really support them through making sure that they are quickly and easily available and visible through the channels that humans do their research on. So we always encourage making sure that we're visible on the right social media, and in making sure that when we're sharing content and information, it is the right type of content and information. So, if we're a, service provider, it's really good to be able to give value. The rule of thumb for promotion through social media is providing value, and then a soft sell, and then a hard sell. So essentially that would be something like providing tips and ideas, maybe sharing a video, being able to share a blog or an article, which does not have a call to action of purchase as part of it, and then leading them to the path of a soft sell, where you're giving them value and an opportunity to invest in themselves with you, and then finally doing very much of a hard sell, which is, buy from me now. So if we're looking at the rule of thumb for content creation, then we need to make sure that there is a way that we're able to use social media to build our brand awareness. There are 4.1 billion people on social media, and that's consistently growing. And so social media is one of the best places to build awareness. I'm not sure it's the best place to convert. The statistics say that the best place to convert people is still via email. Email open rates and email conversion rates are higher than social media. So our role is to build our audience through social media, and then move them through to the next stage in the process, and that is try and collect their details. And the best way to collect their details is through some form of lead magnet. Top 5 lead magnets currently, I believe, are a how-to document, a white paper, an instructional video, a product overview, and a webinar. And my favorite of those is a webinar, because we're actually bringing a person on the journey with us. So the idea is to build your awareness through social media, and then use the form of a webinar to be able to convert people into your own community, so into your database, and then run a webinar that will bring them value, that will let them get to know you, that will enable you to share your content, but also for you to get to know your audience. We know that not everybody is our ideal customer. The amount of times we end up choosing to work with somebody who might not be right for us because we feel like we need, the money, or we need to work with, everybody. And unfortunately, that just isn't the case. It ends up being terrible for us because we don't like to work with that person. They're just not the right person for us to give value to. But if they're not the right person for us, then we're not the right person for them. So that also gives us an opportunity. If we're in a webinar style environment, a digital event, you have an opportunity to kind of get a sense and a feel for people. You see how they're engaging, or if they're not engaging in the chat. You get an understanding of who they are and what their needs are. And then you're able to move them to your next step, or your call to action, which would usually be a higher ticket offer, and being able to move them through your funnel and through that customer journey really quickly and effectively.
It is. It's showing up for your clients, and sometimes we think we know our ideal client, but sometimes we attract different clients. So it's just balancing that and figuring out, how can you serve those souls? How can you serve them in a way that is helpful to them, and it's and you can grow your own business doing that. And I love how you said about taking people off social media and giving them value as a product, digital product, or webinar, or a gift, and then taking them off social media and serving them through email, because you can create a better connection with them. Also surveying your customers and just having that relationship with them, or even creating community like Facebook groups or even groups, local groups. I say there are so many ways that you can create your community to start building the engagement or relationship and then engage with them. So wonderful. How about the actual marketing campaign, and how do you know that marketing campaign works?
That's a good question, Edith. I'm just going to address, Dottie just asked, it's not all about the fun part. So it means constantly marketing to be there for the long haul. Yes, Dottie, we do have to be there for the long haul. And that's why we've been looking at technology and how can technology support us? How can we effectively create and repurpose our content so that we are constantly marketing? We're not constantly spending our time creating marketing content, because we still have to provide the service that we have been engaged to provide. So it is very much about learning how to balance and learning how to really repurpose, get the biggest bang for buck. And again, good question there around how do we know it works? I mean, at the end of the day, we know it works if we're building a profit and we're building a customer base and we're building an audience, and we're in business and we're making money. And I think what the trap that we fall into as service providers sometimes is that we don't look at the financial side of things. Most service providers are all about wanting to give and to share and to provide a beautiful service, which is really important. But we have to ensure that we're not just working, that we're actually making money, that we're building our audience. And so we have to look at all four pillars, as I mentioned earlier. So we need to look at not just the promotion side of things, but we really need to look at what are we charging? Is the price worth the time that we are spending? And again, how can we stop working on a time for money space? Because, time is finite. No matter how much you're charging per hour, you still are you're not going to be able to scale as effectively. So we need to have a look at how can we use digital technology? How can we group our customers and move from a one-to-one to one-to-many model? Or how can we productize our service so that people can still benefit from our service, but we don't have to spend more time to serve more people? So these are all questions that we need to ask ourselves as a service provider in order to be able to scale at a level that's going to continue to be possible rather than impossible, because we just burn ourselves out. And we've seen that happen quite a lot. So we burn ourselves out because we just can't sustain scalable growth without increasing the amount of hours that we have to work.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, do you have any secrets about marketing, and what can someone do today that they can apply it to their marketing strategy today to move the needle forward and help their business? One single tip.
One single tip, sure. My one single tip is understanding who is your favorite customer. Not who is your ideal customer, but not who is your target market, but who is your favorite customer. Have a think about who do you love working with, and we love working with them for multiple purposes. They are easy to work with. They are fun to work with. They will pay you happily for your services because they trust you and they know that what you bring to them is valuable. They will talk about you to others, so they will be a really good word of mouth representative for you. So if we can identify who that person is and what that person looks like, then we're able to get clarity around where they spend their time, what is important to those people, and how we can communicate with them. We can then understand exactly what we do for that person, and how can we take that information and then use that through our marketing so that we're attracting more of that ideal audience. So that would be tip number one. And I guess tip number two, when it comes to marketing, is, as Dottie put in the chat there, it's repurpose. Always think about how you can repurpose the content that you are creating. You know, it takes up to 6 hours to create one piece of copy, right? And what research has shown is that 47% of business owners create their own marketing material. And so what ends up happening is that most really don't share enough content because it takes too long. And so again, you know I keep harping on about, you know, doing your own digital events, but if we think about creating a webinar, it gives you so much information to be able to then reshare. It's really not about the webinar, but it's about being able to, you know, when we're promoting the webinar, we're promoting ourselves. When we have people in the room with us on a digital event, just like this one, we're recording it. When we're recording it, we are collecting content. When we create information and images, it really helps us to build our brand awareness and helps us to then repurpose that content across multiple platforms. You can then take that information, you can turn it into audio, which means you've got a podcast. You can then transcribe that information, which means you've got a blog or long form copy, and you can cut all of that down into social media and short form content. And if we implement a process around this and be strategic and consistent, and then we can engage, you know, a team, we can engage an assistant, a remote team worker to help repurpose and to share that content without you always having to be the one that does all the work.
Yeah, I hope everyone is taking notes because this chat is on fire. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I see high performance habits. Would you like to share anything about that? High performance habits book.
Yes, the High Performance Habits book. It's really interesting. I don't know if you guys have heard of Brennan Burchard, but Brennan Burchard wrote the High Performance Habits, and he is a life coach. Essentially, he's a very, very famous life coach. But what's really interesting is that book just arrived at my house. I don't remember at what point I filled out some form of online, probably survey, and said, yes, I'd like one, but it just arrived at my house, and very much around finding out, you know, what can we do within ourselves so that we can consistently perform at a higher level. And, you know, when your business is you are the person who's providing that. And at the start of our business journey, we wear all the hats. Like, we are the marketing person, we are the finance person, we are the person doing all the business stuff, and then we are also delivering our service. So we really have to understand, how can we look at all areas of our life and make sure that we are able to consistently bring our best self to the table. And so if we look at high performance habits, it's really around looking at people who are high performance and what is it that they do in order to be able to consistently keep up that high performance through implementing good habits within our lives.
And it's not only about keeping up appearances or appearances. It's about keeping up to your vision in mind, and like your goal, where you're heading, where your brand is heading, where your marketing is heading, and just keep going, because it's you know, when you're starting your business, it's a lot of things about finding out what to do and what way works for you. And then, you know, there is a point that people give up, but if you keep on going, keep on creating content, keep on having those marketing strategies that you were talking about, or implementing some of the marketing strategies, then you will start seeing results.
Yeah, and you know, when it comes to our marketing, it's all around testing and measuring as well. So if something is not working, then maybe you're not doing the right thing. So test it and measure it, tweak something, change something, see if that's going to make a difference. And, I think it's really around trying to gamifying it for ourselves. Let's try and make it fun for ourselves. I think the biggest challenge for most business owners is marketing. If we ask, what is it that you struggle with? The majority of people will say something along the lines of marketing or social media. And, I don't really know what to do in that space. And so, we need to just try things to see what's going to work and try and make it fun for ourselves. Find a way that's going to support you to be consistent in the way that you are creating the material, creating the content and being out there and being visible. If you don't like writing, see if you can record a video. If you don't like recording videos, then see if you can record an audio or a podcast around that. If you struggle with creating beautiful imagery, look at how you can do that in a way that's through email marketing. Really look at your own strengths, because at the end of the day, if you are not enjoying it, you will get sick of doing it. So we need to find a way that's going to work for us, and then eventually bring a team on board, find others that can help us be more effective at our business and our structure, and making sure that we then inspire them with our vision, so that we are bringing, our team on the journey with us, so that they feel like they're making, adding to the difference that we are making.
100% agree with that. Dr. Florence is asking, does corporate branding serve nations' brands?
Does corporate branding serve nations' brands? That's a really interesting question. It very much depends on the corporation. I think we need to have an understanding of their mission and their vision and their values. That is a part of our marketing strategy that is really important. So really being able to understand what is the vision that they have and what is the mission that they're following, and having a look at, how they are providing or creating a product or service, and understanding how much they are in alignment with global goals. It's a very broad question. I think it very much depends on the corporation and where that corporation stands. I could not even imagine growing a company from, a really good book I read was Shoe Dog, and that is the story of the guy that started Nike. And, he started selling runners out the back of his, from the trunk of his car. And to grow a company from, that to what Nike is today would be crazy, and having to all of a sudden manage a huge corporation with different people and different stakeholders, and having to be accountable to, yourself and your values and your mission and vision, and to all of the staff that you have working and all the people that you're supporting, and then having to be accountable to, the space where you're living. So the country that you're in across multiple countries globally would be, there would be some tough decisions that you would have to make. And maybe I'm an optimist, but, at heart, I do believe people don't start out to be bad. And so if something's gone wrong, yes, it needs to be fixed. Yes, we need to be aware of, the trajectory. But at the end of the day, I honestly believe that most people go into business for the purposes of doing something good. And somewhere along the line, things might shift. But as a whole, yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfectly said. And you have a special gift to share with our audience. I'm just adding that link to the chat. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it's a little ebook that I have written. It's called The Secrets of Successful Webinars, and it takes you step by step on how to plan, promote, and present a successful webinar that's going to build your brand reputation, increase your revenue, and really get you moving. So that is our ebook. And then I'm also running a webinar on the 26th of May. It is at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, which works in with the UK market. And that is a free webinar on how to leverage webinars for your brand and business growth. And I think Edith has a link to that there as well.
Yes.
Jeanette was just saying that there is a very different mindset for the consumers of the various social media platforms. And that is very, very true, Jeanette. There's definitely a different mindset. However, people are the same people that are on LinkedIn are going to be on Facebook as well. And, you know, they're going to be there on Instagram. And we just need to make sure that we shift slightly in the way that we communicate in order to be able to connect with our audience effectively. Dottie was asking, what do you mean again when you say social and email? I mean, there's social media marketing, and then we go into email marketing. So essentially with social media marketing, we are primarily building awareness of ourselves online, and that information is owned by somebody else. Whereas once we have moved somebody from being a connection on social media into our own database, into our email with their permission, then there is an opportunity to be able to communicate on a more in-depth level, which means that you basically are, if you're thinking about a funnel, they are a warmer lead than somebody that is on social media. And then would you recommend starting right away with a webinar or with a live event like this as part of to launch your business? Yes, I would recommend that. I would recommend making sure that we prepare ourselves for that, you know, doing a launch. So marketers say that events drive more business value than any other marketing channel, and that includes product launches. So if we are launching our business, it is very much important to get as much bang for buck as possible. And if we launch with a webinar, what that will mean is that you'll have an opportunity to build your audience really, really quickly and build content really quickly. And it depends on what sort of business you're in. But if you feel like you might not have the expertise to run something like this all by yourself, find other people to support you in that, like Edith has done. You know, we've got multiple speakers sharing their insights, and Edith is there as the host. She's asking some questions. And that way we're able to connect with both Edith and all the speakers and really start to build and grow that awareness.
Thank you so much, Dottie, for this wonderful question. And if you do want to connect with me, I'll just pop my email address, and also you can sign up for the new magazine that I've recently published. It's called Courage Magazine Global. And there is a link for it and my email address, and I'll email you 7 secrets to successful branding. And you can feel free to connect on social media as well with me. And I'm happy to support you as well as answering your questions you still might have after the summit. So thank you for this beautiful gift, Anna. And I'm so honored to have you here, and I really appreciate your shift and you waking up so early in the morning just to be here for us and serving our audience. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you so much, Edith. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, Anna.